Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins in Washington, D.C., in 1865, 5 days after the Civil War ended. John Wilkes Booth and Michael O'Loughlin approach Thomas Gates and his son, Charles Carroll Gates, both experts at solving puzzles. John asks Thomas to translate a code recorded in his diary, which includes the cryptic clue, "Rid the debt that all men pay." A few moments later, Michael reminds John to complete his main goal, while he waits for Thomas to finish decoding the clue. John takes Michael's suggestion, and heads to Ford's Theater, revealing his plan to assassinate President Abraham Lincoln. The news of the shooting shocks everyone, including Thomas, who realizes the men in front of him are traitors. He also deduces that the puzzle in the diary is a treasure map. To prevent the treasure from falling into the wrong hands, he tears up the note, and tries to burn it. Unfortunately, John discovers his plan, takes the remaining paper, and kills him. Years later, Thomas Gates' descendants still remember the incident. Ben Gates, Thomas' great-grandson, spreads the story of his ancestors' heroism in stopping the traitors and obtaining clues about the treasure. However, Ben's story is suddenly challenged by Mitch Wilkinson, who claims that Thomas Gates actually conspired with John. Mitch presents evidence, in the form of the remaining sheets from John's diary. Shocked, Ben asks Mitch to examine the historical item, and a museum verifies that the piece matches, but requires further analysis to confirm its authenticity. After their meeting with Mitch, Ben and his father, Patrick, can't stop thinking about the story. Patrick remembers the details, but Mitch has strong evidence that challenges their family history. This conspiracy can tarnish the Gates family's name. Determined to prove that the notes in the journal are a treasure map, Ben vows to clear his family's name. Without wasting time, Ben meets his friend Riley, an author of a history book, with theories about American historical conspiracies. Unfortunately, Riley's life is not going well, his book isn't selling, and the government has confiscated his prized Ferrari, due to unpaid taxes. Ben asks Riley to help him unlock his house door, as his ex-girlfriend Abigail has changed the passcode, after their breakup. Ben needs to retrieve Abigail's employee card, as she is the director of document preservation, to access John's diary. Before Ben could leave the house, Abigail returns and catches him. Cornered, he explains his problem, and asks her to examine the historical item. Reluctantly, she agrees, because he promises to give her an antique. Initially, the examination yields no results, but upon closer inspection, she finds clues hidden on the back of the paper. The next day, Abigail's fellow museum employees are set to announce the discovery of this historical object, implicating Ben's great-grandfather in President Lincoln's assassination. Abigail's fears are confirmed when Mitch publicly announces that Thomas Gates was the mastermind behind Lincoln's death, using Booth's diary pages kept by the Wilkinson family as evidence. This news reaches the FBI, but Agent Peter Sadusky, a friend of Ben's, can't believe it. He suspects Mitch has ulterior motives, and orders an investigation into Mitch's background. A few days later, the FBI discovers that Mitch is a hired soldier and antiques dealer. This makes Peter even more suspicious, as he wonders why he had given the historical item to the museum, instead of selling it to a wealthy collector, which would have been very lucrative. Peter is convinced Mitch is after something more valuable than money. Meanwhile, Ben finds hidden clues in the diary, and asks Riley to translate them using a special application. Initially, Riley couldn't decipher much, due to the limited clues. However, after discussing it with his father, Ben discovers the clue reads, "Liberty Lady, a French person who created the Statue of Liberty." They realize there were 3 statues of liberty in the world, and the one mentioned in the clue is the Statue of Liberty in Paris. The next day, Ben and Riley fly to Paris. Using a small remote-controlled helicopter with a camera, they search for clues at the Statue of Liberty. Their activities attract the attention of patrolling police, and they are almost expelled. However, Ben manages to distract the police, while Riley finds a note on the statue. This note leads them to a clue about Queen Victoria, specifically referring to one of the Resolute desks, with one located in Buckingham Palace. Wasting no time, they head to England. Meanwhile, Mitch and his men attack Ben's father, to clone his cell phone, ensuring they can intercept any clues Ben shares. In England, Ben and Riley split up, to sneak into the Queen's office, and find clues on the Resolute desk. Riley taps into the CCTV to monitor Ben. During his mission, Abigail unexpectedly shows up to help. He causes a scene to distract others, leading to both he and Abigail being arrested. In the holding room, they reconcile and escape through a dumb waiter. Guided by Riley, they find the Queen's office, and discover a secret code on the desk. After solving the puzzle, Ben retrieves a wooden plank, with various symbols. Just then, security officers notice their escape. Riley triggers a false alarm, allowing them to flee the palace safely. Outside the palace, they ponder upon the symbols on the plank, but soon realize they are being followed by Mitch and his men. They flee, with Mitch's underlings in pursuit. Amid the chase, Ben takes a photo of the plank, using a speed camera, since his phone is damaged. He then throws the plank into the river, stopping Mitch's men from chasing them further. After that, he goes back to his father's house to translate the clue. Unfortunately, Patrick admits he can't translate it, but he knows an expert who can: Ben's mother, Emily, who he hasn't spoken to in over 30 years, but agrees to on his son's request. The next day, they meet Emily, a lecturer at the University of Maryland. Initially cold, she agrees to help after hearing the explanation. She deciphers part of the clue, but notes that the instructions are incomplete. The Resolute desks were built in pairs, so they needed to find the other desk, the Hayes desk, located in the White House. Without wasting time, Ben and Abigail go to the White House, which is hosting an Easter event. Abigail meets Connor, a White House staffer who likes her. Initially reluctant, Connor agrees to let them in when Abigail pretends she wants to visit the president's office. Connor cautions them, as the president's office is not open to the public. Inside, with a distraction, Ben quickly searches the desk, but discovers the plank with the clue is missing. After they leave the White House, he informs Riley about the plank missing. Riley reminds them of writings in the secret presidential book, a conspiracy theory suggesting a book passed down from one president to the next, recording various secrets, possibly including information about the Hayes desk, and the secret code. Unfortunately, only the president knows about the book's location. Ben realizes he has no connections to access the president, but then devises a bold plan to kidnap the president. He intends to lure the president to the Vernon Hotel during his upcoming birthday celebration, utilizing a secret tunnel there to facilitate his plan. The next day, Riley and Patrick book all the hotels in Washington, D.C., forcing the president's event to be held at the Vernon Hotel, enabling Ben's plan. In the evening, Ben meets the president, who knows him as a Gates family member. Ben, knowing the president likes George Washington, shows a map that reveals a secret tunnel nearby. Intrigued, the president follows Ben to the tunnel, ordering his bodyguards to stay outside. Once inside, Ben traps the president and himself. Shocked, the president listens as Ben asks about the rumored secret presidential book. Initially reluctant, the president sees Ben's seriousness, and reassured by Ben's escape plan, reveals the book's location in the Library of Congress, along with the secret code to find it. Before leaving, the president warns Ben that if the mission fails, he can't publicly defend him. Ben, Riley and Abigail head to the library. Abigail, familiar with the layout, leads them to the bookshelf containing the secret book. Initially, it isn't visible, but Ben finds a hidden code. Entering the code, the book appears, confirming the rumors. Inside, Ben finds new clues about the Hayes desk. As the FBI starts searching for him, he and his friends quickly leave, splitting up to avoid detection. Abigail nearly gets caught but manages to escape, and Ben soon joins them outside safely. Meanwhile, Mitch learns of Ben's new clue, and threatens Emily, Ben's mother, to translate the code. Believing Mitch to be a treasure hunter, Emily is reluctant, but complies under duress, and lies about the clue. The next day, Mitch takes Emily to Mount Rushmore, suspecting it hides the treasure. Ben and his friends arrive first, and Mitch, seeing this, threatens Emily. Ben warns that the police are after him, implying Mitch will also be caught, forcing Mitch to cooperate. In a rocky area, Ben pressures Mitch to reveal the next clue, knowing Mitch has forced Emily to translate it. He reveals the clue, and Ben deciphers it, realizing they need to pour water on the rocks. Abigail finds a bird symbol marking the entrance. Ben activates a hidden mechanism, causing a cliff to collapse, and revealing a hidden entrance. They enter, but the entrance seals behind them, trapping them inside. Separated from Ben's parents, they find themselves in a precarious floor trap. They balance carefully, while Abigail discovers a nearby ladder. Mitch climbs first, followed by Abigail and Riley, leaving Ben last. Though Mitch initially left, he returns to help Ben, saving him. The four then find a large reservoir room. As they search, they discover the next clue is hidden underwater, so they need to lower the water level to continue. Following the clue from the reservoir, they finally find what they are seeking: Cibola, a Native American city entirely made of gold. Meanwhile, Ben's parents also arrive at the site. With the discovery, Thomas Gates, Ben's great-grandfather, is proven innocent. Mitch finally confesses to his actions, apologizing for slandering Thomas Gates. Mitch had tricked Ben into searching for the treasure, achieving his goal of registering Wilkinson's name as the discoverer of Cibola. However, their joy is short-lived, as the site starts to flood, forcing them to escape immediately. Patrick notices water flowing down, and believes it is their way out. However, when they attempt to leave, the stream intensifies, requiring someone to hold the door open. Ben sacrifices himself so the others can escape, while Mitch, trying to hold the door, is crushed by a falling stone. Before his demise, Mitch instructs Ben to credit the Wilkinson name as the discoverer of Cibola. Finally, they escape the cave. Ben is arrested for kidnapping the president, but is exonerated when the president testifies Ben had saved him after the tunnel closed accidentally. Later, the discovery of Cibola is announced, with credit given to Ben, his team, and Mitch. Thomas Gates' name is cleared, and he is hailed as a hero. Patrick and Emily eagerly analyze Cibola once the water is drained. Ben and Abigail repair their relationship. Riley receives Ferrari back from the president, and the president asks Ben to decipher something on page 47 of the diary, leaving it a mystery. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.